name is Knoll, and today I'll be showing you how to put together a science fair presentation board. Your science fair presentation boards are an incredibly important part of your science fair project because your science fair board is going to be representing you as well as your research. Your board is going to essentially be advertising your project to judges and potential audience members, and will be a prop during your presentation, and also will be a good representative of all the work and effort that you put into this project along the way. When you're showing your project, you really need a good way to share your story, and this is kind of the cool visual element to that. It's a way to really engage your audience and bring them in and help them understand the whole process that you went through to make this project happen. In explaining this, I'm just going to quick walk through kind of how this board is put together in the order that it goes in. Because this is a story, you have to have a title, a beginning, a middle, and an end. I'm going to start off just by explaining your title. I really recommend having a catchy title that people are going to remember and think of, and also something that's going to be eye-catching and make them stop and come check out your project. For your main title text, you're going to need it to be about 2 inches, so your judges can see it from quite a distance, and your subtitle should be about 1 inch. Also, sometimes you're going to have a continuation project, and then you're going to have to include what part of this project is. Because this was year 2 of the same research project, it's part 2. Also on your title, you're going to want to include your name, your grade, and your school. This doesn't necessarily have to be on your title part of your project, but it should be up in a really obvious location near the top of the board so your judges are able to find it quickly because they're going to need it for their scoring sheets. Up next on your presentation, you're going to want to have your abstract, and it has to be vertical on your presentation. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the board. You could have it propped up on the table, but it needs to be obvious so your judges can find it quickly because it has a lot of important information that they're going to need for scoring your projects. After that, you're going to want to put your purpose because you want your judges to know what and why you're doing this project. After that, you're going to put your hypothesis, your variables, and then your procedures and materials, and all your graphs and data, and your results, and your conclusion. You also can include your bibliography because if you have any data or research on your board that references different sources from your bibliography, you're going to want to include that. Another interesting talking point that you can include on your board is future research because your judges are always going to want to know how you want to expand this further. Another way to make your board more engaging is to include lots of pictures, diagrams, graphs, and tables because these are going to help them understand why you did it and how you did your project. If you do an engineering project, I really recommend putting together a diagram to explain how the thing you created works. It's also important to not include yourself or other people in your pictures and to also give credit to whoever your pictures were taken by. When you look at this board, you also need to be thinking about it that you'll be looking at it from a distance. You have to not only be thinking about it from your eyes, but your audience eyes. You don't want your board to be super distracting by including lots of different colors and shapes and cuts, but sticking to maybe 3 main colors. Like on this board, you can see I stuck the primary colors of blue, green, and orange. And yes, there's going to be a few more colors that you include on your graphs and maybe diagrams, but you're going to stick to those main 3. You also are going to want to think about your text sizes. Your judges are going to be standing about 5 feet away from you, especially if there's a larger group of them, and they need to be able to see it from a distance. If you make your text really small, you have to be ready for judges to be a little bit closer to you. So your board is going to be a creative visual of what your project's going to look like, and so you want it to be the best representative of you. Be ready to put some work into this because it's going to be a really important part of your project. I encourage you to put this together and have fun while doing it. It's a really fun part of the project, and I wish you all the luck on your science fair presentations.